So, people who stay in less than perfect relationships until they find another person to be with are so weak. But it's a testament to how scared we are to be alone. And I guess you shouldn't be so hard on people for being weak and not wanting to be alone. But it's funny how things have come to be, if things are manifest. I don't know. Used to be they would make, Hollywood, I think, has ruined the ordinary relationship. We all want that movie romantic comedy ending. We all want that Nicholas Sparks novel romance, and it's just not realistic. Sometimes elements of it do happen in reality, but that's just an example of life imitating art. And that's not the way that usually works out. It needs to be art imitating life. But art has become we live in such an art-dominated culture. And by art, I just mean mass media. I mean television and movies. I don't mean art like art gallery, amazing, brilliant Van Gogh type paint. I just mean fucking art. We're just inundated with shitty art, right? But we want that. We want that to be our lives. So I think way back when, Hollywood was a reflection on society. And now society has become a reflection on Hollywood. Years ago, at some point, it had to be, I'm just speculating here retroactively, it had to be that movies and books and novels would be some sort of hyperbole on life, right? It would be an exaggerated artistic expression of real life. And like I've said already, I think we've come full circle to the point now where we're just regurgitating ourselves over, and the same stories, are being regurgitated. It's all formulaic at this point. And then in reality, our fucking increasingly superficial and shallow existences that we're living these days, we are, just trying to suck whatever we can out of it, whatever meaning we can get out of life. We've lost our soul. So we look and society has become a reflection of Hollywood, which is an imitation of life, which is art. So it's just like life, instead of art imitating life, it's now life imitating art, which was in its humble origins, art was imitating life. It's just we're becoming less and less substance as time goes on. So to ordinary relationships, I don't know about you, but, and this for comedy purposes, this would come after the joke about, the gay people doing marriage better, and then also the joke about, if you've met your soulmate, person you love, blah, 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 then you must be gay, because that doesn't sound like any woman I've ever met. In fact, the chasm between me and the closest thing I've come to in the form of a female soulmate, that chasm is like the Grand Canyon. And I find it hard to believe that that's just me. Now, maybe I'm a little different, but I'm not so much different, which means it gives me a hard time. I have a hard time trying to explain all these supposed happy relationships I see around me. So for me, if I'm experiencing it, then what is this I'm seeing around me? Well, I think I know what it is. It's rationalization. I'm not saying some of you aren't happy. You are. But for the most part, I think a lot of you have tricked yourselves into believing you're happy, at least in your relationships. But I think over time, almost like an arranged marriage can work out, I think however you came into your relationship, and time it gets better because we get defeated. We realize that this is it. This is it for me. This is the person that the game of musical chairs is over. I sat down. The music ain't playing anymore. The single life, I can't go back to that. Not marketable anymore. I'm not going back to the fucking bar scene, So this is it. This is the person I'm going to have to be with. And then the indomitable human spirit takes over. At some point you realize this is it. There is happiness in slavery, because happiness is something that we all want to be happy. So yeah, there is happiness in slavery. So when we're in a relationship and we feel we resign ourselves to the fact that I can't do any better. That's when true happiness in a relationship begins. When both parties agree internally that they can no longer do any better. We've passed the point of no return. That's why relationships are rocky in the beginning. And then eventually they become blissful. Because we become desensitized. We become numb. We don't remember what we were first setting out to accomplish in terms of a partner or a relationship. We were looking for our soulmate when we're young. When you're young and idealistic and full of life and exuberant, and you've read so many novels and seen so many movies, you're going to find your soulmate and you're going to live happily. Come on. And it's funny. That's why the joke is, that's why older men love younger girls, because they're so adorable with all their hopes and dreams. They still believe in things. And that is so adorable. I mean, let's face it just is. But then, like Shoshana and what's his name, Ray, from Girls, eventually, that girl, the life gets sucked out of her because she's with this abyss, this dark soul of an older boyfriend, right? They were attracted to each other in the beginning because, he knew how to fuck. And he did things that she was just he would just pop a finger up her ass. And things she was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, maybe he had a little bit of money. He was he was a little stable, his life. And, she saw his apartment. She's like, oh, I could fuck on this bed. This couch. Ooh, that's a big TV. Ooh, like a fish swimming around a fucking new fish bowl. You know what I mean? You get adjusted to the water temperature and then everything seems nice. But then before too long, it works though. If the older guy has money, it can work because even though he's got this dark soul, he's no fun. Yeah, his money might be fun. But I digress. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we do all settle. I just think that we have a way of internally rationalizing it to make it seem like we don't. And I know, a lot of you are going to say, oh, well, you're just miserable, and maybe that's what happened to you, but my relationship's different. Well, more power to you. Whatever you got to tell yourself. Whatever helps you, sleep at night. But it's, they say in the beginning, oh, there's got to be more to a relationship than just sex. You got to find your best friend. That's what's going to make it last. Find your best friend. And to me, that's kind of true. I mean, it's true in a way, but it's true in a way where it's like you came up with the right answer, but you can't show your work. You know what I mean? If it was freshman algebra and you handed that in on the test, you'd get accused of cheating or something because you wouldn't have been able to show your work, or your work would have been wrong and you maybe just got lucky with the answer. And what I mean by that is, yeah, you need to fucking be with your best friend to make it last. That's true. But that can happen after the fact. Because like I said, you're with somebody long enough, you both get to a point, you're still together, you fight through the turbulence, you get to a point where you realize you're no longer marketable, you can't get any better, and then you resign yourself to the fact that we're best friends, you have shared history. You're not best friends. I mean, you may be best friends now, but again, I'm sorry to be so cynical, but that is more a byproduct of just shared history. We want to be with somebody who knows us, right? So after a certain amount of time, it's like you're invested. You're invested. It becomes sentimental value. So you stay together for sentimental value, or you could repackage that and rebrand it as best friends. No, it's shared history is what it is. And there's something to be said for that too. There's value there. I grant you that. But that's what I mean by, right answer, wrong fucking work. If you can find somebody who honestly, hey, I really like boning you, I really like having sex with you, and you seem like a nice person. You want to get married? That's it, man. That's what it's about. So when they say, it has to be about more than sex, it has to be about more than sex, not really. Not initially. Not for the first 10 years. Not for at least the first year to 3 years, and then maybe even 10 or 15. I mean, if you're just fucking and you're nice, both nice people, and, good hygiene, and she's nice and you're nice, and you genuinely care about each other and you want to make it work, and you like fucking, you're onto something. After a while, you might just, grow accustomed to that person, and all the sentimental value will take over. That's the key to happiness, long term anyway, because, monogamy's not natural anyway. So, yeah, they say in the beginning, you can't just trust your dick. Like, you can't just go. No, bullshit. My penis. If you're smart, if you're a guy, you want to follow your head, you want to follow your heart, you want to follow your penis. But let me tell you something. If you got a gun to your head, if you can only follow one, follow your penis. He's got the best chance of finding fucking gold. That's your fucking metal detector on the beach if you're looking for coinage. That's what you want to follow, your penis. And this is where you can insert your joke about the votes, head, your heart, your gut, your penis. But yeah, follow your penis. And if you like fucking somebody, and we're guys, we all kind of like fucking initially, right? The challenge, the newness of it, a new warm wet hole that's like interesting. Yeah, but if you're now fucking her 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, now you're going on a couple weeks, couple months, and it's still pretty fucking good. That's something. That's you hang on to that girl, and then eventually you guys maybe become friends. Maybe you get a house together, move in, become roommates. But it really is a game of musical chairs, and you definitely put a lot more energy and effort into your relationships in your 30s than you did your relationships in your 20s. It's just like everything else. It's all universal, right? When you're a kid and you fall, you get right back up. No big deal. You don't even feel it. You move on. You forget about it. Short memory. No big deal, right? But when you're older and you fall, you break a fucking hip. And then everything in between on that spectrum, right? So then, it's getting later in life. You're getting a little long in the tooth in terms of relationship viability, and you put more energy and effort into those relationships. I have to make this work. That's why a lot of times 40-year-old guy, 30-year-old woman, those relationships have a tendency to go the distance, because let's face it, you're 30, you're a woman, you don't have a kid yet, you're in trouble, you're in danger zone, DEFCON 5 red zone, danger zone, right? You're a guy, you're 40, it's like, I'm losing my hair, I don't have a lot of testosterone left, my penis is a little leaky, I see a lot of slippage here, a lot of slippage, a lot of leakage, to be honest with you. But, you're slipping a little bit and you sense it and you're like, I better settle down. So it's just musical chairs. And hey, if you're a guy and you could sow your fucking oats and get that far and then settle down with something pretty nice and perky at that age, 8 to 12 years younger than you did a good job. That's the perfect formula, Live it up, do what you got to do, and then when you just right at the end, it's dangerous though. It's real dangerous. If you get right to the end where you're just like, you can't go in the bar anymore. You're starting to not know the fucking popular songs and music, and you're just becoming a little. If you can get a girl at that point, you better hang on to her, because you're close to just being completely outdated. And if you slip it, it's I'm telling you, it's like slipping into a fucking coma. You slip into your fucking late 30s, early 40s, and you're a guy and you're single, you fucked up. You become like one of these guys, like one of these tan guys with the Tommy Bahama shirts. You're in the fucking bar and you're hanging out, and maybe you find a group or a crowd of younger people that you're sort of on the periphery of a lot, and they let you hang around because you buy drinks. Or, half of them are, laughing with you. Some are laughing at you. You just don't want to become that guy. You don't want to become that. That's no good.